Another beautiful Monday. Blessed to see it. Blessed to be here. It's definitely a blessing to continue to be, man, with everything that's going on in this world. I was talking to my mom this morning, and we were just talking about just kind of events that took place in the city of Birmingham over the weekend, just all the killings and like just how much it is a blessing to just trust God and operate under the safety of God's provision. So when I say it's a blessing to be here another Monday and to have you all join us. That's never something that I take for granted. That's never something I'm going to ignore because it is truly a blessing to be here. It is truly a blessing to operate in this space and to share this space with you all. But of course, I am excited because it's another edition of the single life, right? We have another edition of the single life, of which I'm very, 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 very excited to be able to get active with you guys on, and I hope you guys are ready. Of course, we've been talking about of course, we've been talking about. Oh, excuse me. Of course, we've been talking about distractions, right? The distractions of dating. That's kind of where we've been. That's kind of the space that we've been operating in, and we're going to continue in that space. And so I look to. Make sure, I don't know why you guys can't see me. I can hear myself, but I cannot see myself. Let me try to figure this out. Give me just a second. Um, I'm not sure why, but I guess I can switch and go to it from my phone. It's fine. Give me just a second if you all will bear with me. Um, yeah. Okay, boom. We can hear you, just can't see you. Yeah, I'm about to switch and go with my phone. I don't know why my iPad wants to not be my friend today, but it's okay. We're gonna make it work. Boom, 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 boom. Allow. Let's go. All right. Um, yeah, here we go. All right, so let's go here. All right. So you guys can see me, correct? Yes. Somebody give me a notification to let me know that you guys can absolutely see me. Somebody thumbs up. Hey y'all. Listen, yes, everybody can see me now. We're good. Are we good? Yes. Okay, good. Perfect. All right. So here we are. Let's get into it. So we're going to continue on with our space. Let me kind of switch my setup here since my iPad didn't want to be my friend today. Let's go here. All right, boom. All right, here we go. Boom. All right, yes. Ready, locked, and loaded. Let's go. All right, so, yeah. The distractions of dating. Here we go. That's kind of where the subject matter we've been sharing on, and then we'll continue on that today, right? So I want to get right into it. Of course, since we had a little bit of technical difficulties, let's not belabor and get right into it. Um, I want to talk to you guys about, let's start with the children of Israel. I hope you guys are okay with us diving in with the children of Israel. And the reason why I want to talk about them is because they, man, they're probably my favorite group of people in the Bible, honestly, because they remind me of us. I feel like the children of Israel are like the modern day version of us in 2024, no joke. And simply because they continue to struggle, right? They continue to have issues. They continue to have these distractions. They continue to have these things go on that really kind of prevented them from being able to see all the things that God promised them. But it wasn't God's fault. It wasn't an error on God's part. It was because they continue to be distracted, right? Just as we are in the single life, just as we are in the single phase, we continue to be distracted because we're focused on things that, quite frankly, we can let go of. So listen, children of Israel, I want you to think about this. How many miracles did the children of Israel personally see? Think about that. How many miracles did the children of Israel personally see? How many did they see on their own? How many miracles did the children of Israel personally see? See, the reason why I say that is because we often will talk and we'll see certain things happen and we'll say, man, listen, man, if that was me, if God had done that for me, if God had showed me that, man, I would be so locked in. I would be so focused. I wouldn't have any issues, right? We say that. And it's easy to say that from the outside looking in, correct? So let's think about it, right? So the children of Israel first, let's start from the beginning, how they got out of slavery. Okay, one, they got out of slavery. Start there. They got out of slavery. Not only did they get out of slavery, they left slavery wealthy. They left with wealth and riches that they didn't have to steal, they didn't have to fight for. It was given to them. So just on one and two, you would think that as they walked out of that, man, they would be the most focused group of people, the most locked in people, ready to do what God's called them to do. You would think, but that wasn't what happened, right? They continued to be distracted. And you may say, well, George, how do you know they were distracted? Because this journey, this journey to the promised land took 40 years and it was only supposed to take a couple of days. That lets you know, honestly, in today's world in 2024, we, us, we can push ourselves out of what God has already promised us because we're distracted. Is it there? Yes. Is it waiting for us? Yes. How are we pushing ourselves away? Because we are moving in an opposite direction. We're distracted. We're distracted. We're moving in an opposing direction. So you think about it. So boom, let's go. Let's keep moving. So as the children of Israel are running, what happens? They come to the they're running, they're running, they come to the ocean. Boom. What happens? Moses parts the ocean. They walk through on dry land. That's another miracle. Yet again, God continued to show them if you just focus on me and if you just put your trust in me, I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. And every time it's like God would do something for them, they would be locked in. And then the moment that that miracle ended, they were like, all right, cool, we back. Nah, well, you got to think about it. They were free talking about, man, we would rather go back to slavery. That's how confused a distraction can truly have you. You don't even realize the benefit of being free. You want to go back to bondage. That is how crazy distractions are. Because you got to think about it like this: distractions never present as distractions. Yeah. Distractions never come to you and say, "Hey, I'm a distraction. I'm here to rob you. I'm here to get you out of your space. Hey, I'm here to take years away from your life. Hey, I'm here to I know you think that you're moving in the proper direction, but I'm gonna shift your agenda. I'm gonna change you. I'm gonna change your direction ever so slightly to make you move away from what God already has established for you. Distractions never yell at you and say, hey, I'm doing these things. Distractions present as things that we want. Distractions present as things that we desire. Bear with me because you may say, okay, well, George, what does this have to do with dating in the single life? I got you. Just hold on. Right? So distractions never present as that. But you got to understand this. A distraction will here's the telltale sign that you know it's a distraction. Because peace only comes from God. And you won't find peace in a distraction. See, you wrestle with distractions. You go back and forth with distractions. You have issues with distractions. You have sleepless nights with distractions. You continue to run into roadblocks and hurdles with distractions. There's no peace with a distraction. But what happens is we are so committed to the distraction, the person that is distracting us, or the thing that we will continue trying to fight to make it work. Okay. No, you don't like that. It's okay. Don't worry. I got you. So next, the children of Israel, they're hungry. God says, okay, y'all hungry? I got y'all. Because I'm Jehovah Jireh, your provider, I will continue to provide for you. I will continue to provide for you. So my way of provision says this. You're hungry? I'm going to cause quail to come into the camp and just rest. Rest. I'm going to cause quail to come in and just wait. Now we know quail fly. Quail, they fly away. How is it possible that quail that fly away now are in a position where they just wait to be caught by the children. They just waiting. They're just there because they have a purpose. God's purpose outweighs any worldly purpose. Yeah, something that may have been meant for something else, whatever God designs it to do, whatever God calls it to do, whatever God says it must do that. So the children of Israel, boom, y'all hungry? I'm going to feed y'all. You don't have to worry. And he told them, he gave them specific instructions. He said, just get enough for today. Don't worry about, don't, because he's trying to teach them something. I am your daily bread. I'm your God. I will take care of you daily, as in the single life. We allow distractions to move us off of the position that God has called us to be in. Because that distraction, look, it presents as something that we need. See, we're lonely. Or we tired of being single. I've been single for so many years. I'm tired of being single. I'm ready to be in a relationship. I'm tired of seeing people get married around me. I'm tired of going to these weddings. When is it my time? When you show that you are ready. See, you looking like the children of Israel right now because you're not trusting God to provide just because it's been an extended amount of time. But oftentimes, the time that we are dealing with, it's not because of God, it's because of something that we are missing. I talked about that months ago. It's something that we are missing. Just like the children of Israel, the promised land wasn't being prepared. They weren't in the wilderness because God needed time to prepare it. It was already prepared. But they continued getting distracted based on them saying, man, God, you're not doing this for us. Or, man, why are we out here? Man, we need this. Man, we need this. And God's like, I keep providing for you. I keep providing for you. Okay, so cool. They get hungry again, yet again. And God says, okay, you hungry? I'm going to rain down manna from heaven. I just want y'all to know. Manna from heaven is something that will always throw me off in a good way because it's like if you ever needed a definition to see how powerful God is, God says, I can rain down manna from heaven. Heaven. Only thing I've ever seen in my lifetime come from the sky is raindrops and hail. That's it. To see something edible come down from heaven that you can pick up and eat it. And what was amazing about manna was that the manna was what every person desired. God was again showing you. You don't need to focus on distractions. You just need to trust me and allow me to provide for you. George, what does that have to do with dating? Because God is still a provider. In the same way that God provided for the children of Israel in the wilderness, God will provide exactly what you need. That man or that woman that you desire, God already has them ready. He is waiting on you to get on track, to stay focused and say, it's not me. I don't have to try to go find it. God, I'm just submitting to you. Now that's something that we all struggle with. I tell y'all every Monday, I never try to get up here and talk from a righteous standpoint like I got it because I'm fighting the same battle as you. Like distractions are not easy to ignore. They're not easy to ignore, but we gotta be diligent. We have to remain diligent. The children of Israel continue to allow distractions to rob them. Some of those people left slavery and never saw the promised land. What does that tell us? You can live on this earth and die and never see the things that God has for you. And it's not God's fault. It's not God's fault. It's us. Okay, I'll give you something. I'll give you something. And I talked about this yesterday in varsity. It was just great. I'm gonna talk. I'll bring it here to this forum, right? Understand this. Everything that you need is within the provisions of God. Everything that you need, everything that you desire are within God's parameters. There, his provisions, there, you gotta stay locked in with him. What do I mean when I say that? Okay. Mm. All right. Let's think about it like this. If you have to step outside of God's will to go get something, you should already know number one, that's not for me. Because why would I have to step outside of God's will to go get it? Why was it not here with me within God's will, within what he already prepared? Why did I have to step outside of God's will to go get it? It wasn't for me. But here's the big point. Here's the big point. If you step outside of God's will to go get something, that man that you desire, that woman, that marriage, right? That second tier of life that you desire, if you have to step outside of God's will to go get it, let me tell you a secret. You got to stay outside of God's will to maintain it. See, it's not like grocery shopping. You can't step outside of God's will, go get what you need, and bring it back in God's will and think it's gonna fit like a piece to the puzzle. It doesn't work like that. If you stepped outside, now the maintenance of that thing, you gotta remain outside of God's will. Because you can't maintain what God didn't design for you in his and force God to say, God, this is for me. You make it right. God says, no, that wasn't for you. So every time you trying to work on that, and every time you keep trying to pour into that relationship, every time you keep trying to make that thing work, every time you keep trying to nurture it and wonder why it's not growing, it's because it's not good ground. You stepped outside of God's will for it. So it's never going to work over there. All right, let's look at it from this standpoint. In the single phase, there are things that we must work on. There are things that we must work on and perfect so that in the relationship phase, in the engagement phase, and in the marriage phase, not to say that we're going to be perfect, but that brings on a new set of challenges. So, how can I take on a new set of challenges when I haven't perfected the challenges that just pertain to me by myself? Come on, work with me. I haven't pertained, I haven't come to grips or being able to get a hold of the challenges that I face as an individual. And now I think that I'm going to usher myself into a marriage with somebody else and the challenges of that. And I'm going to navigate those, and I couldn't navigate me by myself. Come on now, you're smarter than that. You're smarter than that. But I need you to understand this. And I'm going to say it just like I wrote it in my notes. What is a weakness for you in the single phase will remain a weakness for you in dating and marriage, but now it's amplified. I'll say it again. What is a weakness for you in the single phase will remain a weakness for you in the dating slash marriage phase, but now that very thing is amplified because now it's not just me, it's somebody else. See, if commitment was an issue in the single phase, and I can't really commit to things in my life, like you start, stop. You got all these projects. You tell people, man, this year I'm gonna do this, and this. And the year comes and goes, and you update your next year with the same list you had last year and the year before that and the year before that. You have commitment issues. You haven't shown that you can commit to the things that you desire. Okay, you know every other Monday we talk about my plate, my choice, right? We talk about making better decisions as it comes to our health and nutrition. And we haven't gotten to a place where we can get a grip on that yet. But we think, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna just connect with somebody who my person, they're gonna be fit. They're gonna be in shape. They're going to be in the gym. They're going to be disciplined, right? And so you think that that discipline is just gonna jump on you. You've got to master it for yourself in the single phase. If it's a weakness now, it'll be a weakness in marriage. Understand that. If it's a weakness now, it'll be a weakness in marriage. If you struggle with being honest now, and you haven't perfected honesty right now, in marriage, you're going to struggle with honesty. But now it's worse because now the lack of honesty has bigger consequences that go with it. It has greater consequences that go with it. It's not the same. See, when you're single and you lie about something or you're not honest, it's wrong, but it doesn't carry a great magnitude of consequences with it. But when you are married, that lie is now amplified because it's somebody else that's affected and attached to that lie. Okay, you don't do good with budgeting. You can't manage your own finances in the single phase. And you think that marriage is going to take you to another level. You just gonna mess up now your finances and their finances because you never mastered it on your own. See, we got to go against the notion that we're looking for somebody to complete us. You're supposed to be complete as an individual. So now we go and we become one. But I wasn't incomplete, and then I found you and I became complete. I was incomplete and I found God. And in God, I became complete. That's the only completion that was needed. Okay, don't worry about it. It's okay. I got you. I got you. I'm going to tell y'all something. I'll tell y'all this. True story. True story. Yesterday, I was in the kitchen meal prepping. And I looked out the window. And I looked out the front window, which is here, and the window into my backyard, which is over there, right? And because I don't really like light, like I'm more of a natural light type of person, right? So like I don't have lights on now. This is natural light. I enjoy natural light. Like very seldom do I actually turn lights on. If I need to see something, boom. But I don't like light. I just even in my office at work, I just don't like light, right? So I'm standing here looking out the window, and I'm like, all right. I was trying to decide if I was gonna water my grass. Cause you gotta stay faithful. I told you I got a story I'm gonna tell you about my grass in a little while, but not today, but one day. So I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna water my grass. I was like, man, it's kind of cloudy outside. Hopefully it'll rain. I won't have to go outside and water my grass. And so I checked the weather app. So I pull it up and I'm checking and I pull up my city and it says no rain for the rest of the evening. Like no rain. It told me that there were supposed to be light showers for like the next 10 minutes and then it was nothing for the rest of the evening. And I mean I scrolled hour by hour. I'm scrolling to see. And I'm like, all right. So when I finish meal prepping, I gotta go outside and water my grass, okay? Because I gotta make sure it's an investment. I gotta make sure the grass keeps growing. You gotta water it, okay? So what's crazy is maybe an hour later, when I tell you the bottom fell out, when I say I'm talking about a true storm is going on, and I'm looking so confused because I'm like, I know I can read. And I read that the weather app said there was no chances of rain for the rest of the evening, hour by hour. No chance of rain. It wasn't supposed to rain, according to them. But I look outside and it's a storm going on. And I literally stood in my kitchen and I started laughing. And I said, what is so crazy is we put stock in the weathermen, and I'm not knocking them. I appreciate them for doing what they do. But we put stock in the weathermen. We put stock in the weather apps. We dress according to what they say. You know what I'm saying? We dress for what they say is going to happen throughout the course of the day. But when it comes down to it, they don't know. The only person that knows is God. God is the ultimate architect. Everybody else tries to figure out a way. God is the ultimate architect. God designs everything that goes on. Listen to me. I just started laughing because I'm like, this is like we put so much stock into it. Y'all know during the school year, school gonna be back in a couple weeks. You know the weathermen will come on. It happens every year. They tell you we about to have this massive storm, and all the schools get out early, and you looking outside and it don't even rain. Not even a drop of rain. All they can do is make a prognostication, a prediction for the future. That's all they can do is attempt to predict. We try to hold on to predictions rather than saying, God, you are going to tell me exactly what I need to do. God, you are showing me exactly what I need to work on. Now I have a choice. I can either become distracted or I can stay focused. I can be the children of Israel and I can never see the promised land. I can let year after year after year go by that I never see what God designed for me and my life because I kept getting distracted. See, distractions are good temporarily. Distractions are good in the moment. They feel good. They sound good. They're enjoyable. Distractions are good in the moment, but they do not have longevity. Distractions don't see, you got to get a new distraction. You go from one distraction to another because each distraction has a lifespan.
And so you get out of that one, it's like, boom, okay, man, listen, I'm going to stay focused on God. I'm going to listen. Here you go, children of Israel, children of Israel. God did a miracle for them. Water out of a rock. Do you guys understand how insane that is to physically see water coming out of a rock and there is no spout, there is no faucet, there's no water source. This is just a hard rock. And now there is water flowing out to an endless supply. That right there should have let you know God truly supplies all of my needs. Do you think being single or your desire for companionship, your desire for a relationship, do you think that is a need? Yes, it's a need. And guess what? My God, which has to be your God, has supplied already. It's already done. He has already supplied all of my needs. I'm not waking up like, oh man, I got a new need that God knows nothing about, and I don't know how he's going to fix it. God has already supplied all your needs, each and every one of them. But what's the disconnect between the supply and me over here? There's a disconnect. And the disconnect is not God. I don't know if you all have ever had a I don't know if you all have ever had an issue where like with the waterworks, with the Birmingham waterworks, and I'm not even talking about some of the issues we see in the news. I'm saying like, all right, so you may have an issue that happens, and when you call, they will ask you one question. They'll say, "We'll have our guys come out and check it out, and we need to see if it's on your side or if it's on our side. Because if it's on our side, we gotta repair it at no cost to you. But if that issue is on your side, then that means the problem is yours and you have to fix it." I need you to understand the connectivity issue that we are having. It's not on God's side of the line. It is forever and always on our side. It's something that we are missing. And it could be a simple fix, but you got to let go of the distractions in order to see. Listen, you can't. It's a reason why they tell you don't text and drive. Because texting while driving means that you are distracted. And when you are distracted, something can happen in an instant. And you don't have time to react because you weren't focused here. You were focused here on a message or on a joke or on something on social media. You were focused there, which robbed you of what you needed to see. Now you're in a predicament that could have been prevented by paying attention. I'm not just talking about driving here. I'm talking about we get ourselves into predicaments with people that could have been avoided had we stayed focused on the task at hand and not been distracted because they look good and not been distracted because they smell good and not distracted because it seems like they check boxes that I need right now. I don't care what I need right now. I'm trying to build for the future. Okay, I'll close with this. Noah built the ark, and at the time that he was building the ark, there what they nobody knew what rain was. Nobody had any idea. Do you understand? And I was doing some research and trying to figure out and pinpoint the exact timeline. Um, but do you know how long? Like there's some that say that Moses built the ark for 125 years, and some say it was 100 years because when he started he was 500 and he completed it at 600. I So you can debate there, but the point is this. Do you know how long Noah had to stay focused on the task at hand, building an ark with no rain in sight? Do you know how many distractions came along? Do you know the people in his circle, the people he knew, the people he probably called friends? Do you know they were talking about him, laughing at him, clowning him because this man is building an ark? How do I know that's true? Because none of them were on the ark. That's how I know they had to be talking and laughing because they weren't on it. Noah had to stay focused every day. My man who is not a carpenter, my man didn't have a team. My man was out there building this ship by himself. Ship, SHIP, building this ship by himself every day. He had to stay focused. He couldn't get distracted because he understood God gave him an assignment, and the assignment was bigger than distractions. The assignment was bigger than the temporary high of a distraction. He stayed focused. And what happened? The day came where the floods came. And Noah and his family were safe. Why? Because he stayed focused. But what would have happened had he got distracted? What would have happened if he got distracted for a couple months? That would have set him behind, which means he wouldn't have been complete. He wouldn't have finished when he was supposed to finish. See, again, the issue isn't on God's side. The issue is on our side of the line because we allow ourselves to become distracted by things. And you say, I'm tired. Woe is me. I'm tired of being single. Woe is me. I'm ready for my relationship. You show you're ready with your actions. You show that you are ready with your actions. Like my dad used to say when I thought it was time, I'd be like, man, I remember being on punishment and getting my car taken away, right? And I'd be like, Dad, I'm ready, ready to get my car back. Yo, he'd be like, I'll know when you're ready. How you gonna know? I'm telling you I'm ready. Nah, I'll know when you're ready. What was he looking at? My actions. My actions show whether I was ready to be trusted. See, you gotta understand when you move into a relationship, God is trusting you with another life. God is trusting you. You have now have a responsibility to somebody else because you can harm or damage them to the nth degree. God says, I need you to be ready to take on that responsibility. How do I show it? With my actions each and every day. Hey man, listen, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for checking it out. As always, it is a blessing. Listen, I'm gonna say this as I close. Don't take for granted your ability to log in and watch these messages every Monday, as I don't take for granted the ability to log in and teach the messages every Monday. I said it on the beginning of the broadcast. I'm gonna say it again. My mom and I were talking about just all the different killings that happened in the city this weekend. I had a classmate that was killed, 37, yesterday. We had a student at CRCC that I think he was 5, maybe 6, that was killed over the weekend. His whole family was killed over the weekend. CRCA. Um, don't take it for granted. It's important that we stay within the parameters and the provisions that God has aligned for us. All right? Ain't nothing good outside of it. Stay inside.